Hello, welcome to the story of me, a North Korean American journey. My name is Justin. The main reason I'm doing this video is to share my personal stories when I was in North Korea and move on a little bit in China in the future and life compare when I was in North Korea and America. Today, I'm here with my wife and she will ask me some questions she might have and I will answer that. Also, if you have not subscribed to my channel, please subscribe and click like button to support my channel so we can create better quality videos. If you have any questions, please leave a comment, any questions on the comments. Thank you and we will continue.
All right. So, Mr. Justin, I guess the first question is, what is the biggest cultural shock from
Cultural
North Korea to
shock.
here? Yes.
Culture shock. There's so many things. First thing was like the calling elder's name. That was the biggest thing. I struggled a lot still nowadays. When I'm calling someone's name, I felt very it's rude.
So explain, what do you do in North Korea? How would you address someone, and why is it different?
In North Korea, if I call someone's calling someone who is older than me, we just say like a uncle or Mr. Mrs. something like that, or like if we random people, then we say excuse me, teacher or something like that. Some putting some title on.
So you wouldn't use their name,
Yes.
but you'd be like more of a honorific kind of
Right.
thing.
We call names only like within our age group. Then we use the names. Other than that, we are not. It's culturally rude.
Okay, so you talked a little bit about when you first came here and how different the kitchen was.
Yeah.
So you want to explain how different that was? Like, what did you have in North Korea, and then what was your first experience here in American kitchen?
So when I was in North Korea, the kitchen over there, most house was a flat kitchen and with the same level with the bedroom and the living room, all same level. So in North Korea, we make a fire under the kitchen, and then like there's a pots, and it boils up. All the pots and they all pretty much same level. Maybe this much higher.
So dirt floor.
Yeah, dirt floor.
Okay.
Yes. So when I came here, I was expecting to make some like a charcoal fire or like a wood fire, but when we came in June 3rd, 2009, the tourist or our guide, she took us to our house and this is a kitchen. I thought it was like a day joking, so we said, "Are you sure this is a kitchen?" Because we saw the microwave and stove, nothing.
Was it gas or electric? Or?
Yeah, it was a gas.
It was the gas.
Yes.
And they have to teach you how to use it.
Yes.
So you spent a good chunk of your life in North Korea. So what was the biggest, other than you calling someone by their first name, what was like a big mindset difference that you come here?
When I came here, I don't have to worry about when I was in North Korea, I constant fear of when the secret police come and take us to concentration camp and imprison us for life. So that was a constant fear. So my house, we always have axe by the door, knife by the window. So just in case.
So constantly thinking about protection,
Yes.
basically, if that happened.
I don't want to end up jail. So if we cannot like protect ourselves from the intruders, especially like the secret force, then it's better to us. It was better to commit suicide and imprisoned. So that was our plan.
So how big was the city that you lived in North Korea?
Where I lived was a very country of a country. So it was around like 150 to 200 household.
So you kind of knew everyone in a sense,
Yes.
being that small. You
Yes.
at least had an idea of people. So you came to China first. How was that with, I mean, there's like what, millions of people in a lot of their cities. So
but the transition was like a pretty big difference. When I first time, I mean, my first escape was 2004 December 31st. It was New Year's Day in Korea, and second escape was for good, and that was. And during the second escape, we trapped by the Chinese Korean gang. So me and my father were slave to them for like 6 months. So we met a bunch of variety, like I would say human tragedies. They were all doing drugs and sex trafficking, everything.
So you basically got the worst of the worst in
Yes.
China when you were
Right.
there.
I felt was like it was worse than North Korea. That's how much I felt so horrible. So
Then you came to Rochester, New York,
yes.
and then how was that compared to North Korea and then in China?
To me, it was living in China a little better than North Korea, but
Except for the people.
yes. But the United States like a whole different perspective. So to me, the people are more like friendly than China, and people are more honest.
Were you on edge for the first little bit being here?
I never. Even though I was not speaking any language, I go out, I waving at people.
Yeah, you felt at ease.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't worry about being chased by police. So that was the biggest relief.
So what about eating out? Because I imagine that's not something you did very often in North Korea, going outside of your house to eat. And that's kind of a big part of our culture here in the
Yes.
U.S. is that we go out to eat a lot. So
To me, still like eating out is wasting of money, but I still getting that culture, so I'm getting used to it a little bit. But when I was in North Korea, yes, we cook everything from like morning to evening.
So staying on the food theme, what about the variety of food? Because I know in North Korea, poverty didn't have much, and then you come here and there's just so much food available, all kinds of variety, all kinds of ethnicities. How was that like?
It's United States like it's to North Koreans. It's just like watching a star movie. Everything is different. Also, when I was in North Korea, first movie we saw was Speed. That was the first movie. I think it was created by Tom Cruise or something like that.
No.
I don't know what the Tom Cruise or someone. I don't know, but was that movie. So when I saw in that movie, there's a bar has like lots of wines and beers. I thought it was a joke. It's just like a TV show. So when I first time came here, first place I went to check was like a bar. I want to see is that real or not. That was my first thing.
And it looked a lot like in the movies.
Yes. So it was really shocking thing to me. And yes, talking about the food, yes, there's like so many varieties. All I ate was like potatoes mainly in North Korea. So
What about grocery store?
there's I could not understand. Like I don't know. When I first time came here, it was a very weird feeling because we grow everything on our farms, our like own farms.
But you had markets of some sort if you didn't have something or if you needed to buy something, limited though it may be, right?
Yes, right.
So is it like an outdoor like marketplace, or is there certain places you would go?
Yes, there's a marketplace in North Korea, but we have to walk about. If I translate calculating li to mileage, I would say 35 miles to walk. So it was a long walk.
So you definitely have to go for a purpose then.
Yes.
And then you came to the States and you could go right down the street, I expect, to a grocery store.
Yes.
How was that first experience?
So first thing, it was a weird, but it was a very comfortable life. It was so comfortable. Like I was like to me it was like a heavenly place.
Because then you didn't have to worry about food, right?
Yes, I don't have to worry about food. Food was everywhere. Also, like the people here are so big. Yeah, it was like so much different.
So what was the first meal that you and family cooked when you were here?
I think it was we just ate like a rice.
That's it.
That's it. We could not eat anything. It was like so greasy, so salty. Especially like
used to
the cheese smell of cheese, I could not bear it. So I couldn't eat cheese for like a pizza for like a year and a half.
Which is hard to imagine because that's like your favorite food now, isn't it?
Yes, it is. And when I first time came here, at the airport, JFK airport in New York, when I look out the airport, there was so many cars. I thought in North Korea, those are cars only elite people people like work for the government.
So very few cars in
Yes.
North Korea.
So when we see like a small cars like that, like the SUVs or like sedans, we expect that they must be like a governor or city mayor, things like that.
So what was the main? If it wasn't a car, was it like horse? Like what was your just walk? That's
We
it.
just walk.
So not even horse and buggy or anything like that.
Horse like everything is like owned by government. Some people do have transporting cars, cargo cars, something like that, but they have to register under government. There's no like individual entitled property.
So what was it like driving in the U.S. first
No.
time? You didn't
Yes.
like it?
That was my dream. So
Okay.
when I was like 5 and my brother was 7, my father was constantly joking, saying like one of us driving and he's sitting in the back. So I thought it was like, what kind of a joke is this? Like unrealistic. I don't even know what the car is. So I was like, okay, sounds good. But now it came to reality.
So how old were you when you learned to drive?
First one I drove was a tractor in China because we were working as like the construction workers. So there was like few times, no one was able to operate the tractor. So I voluntarily drove.
You just figured it out?
Yes, I just figured it out. Start the engine and then I tried them multiple ways.
So you came to the U.S. and when did you guys buy a car?
My brother and then he bought it. Our first car was 2010. Yes, 2010 we bought the first car.
Is that weird? You feel like you're owning a car?
It was so like it felt like the owning the jet engine airplane. I was like every day he came back from work, then I go into a car and then play in the cities, touching everything. Like, what is this? I was so fascinated by that.
So, trying to think what else to ask you. So you flew here
Yes.
to the U.S. and that was your first time on an airplane?
Yes. When I come in here, I mean, in North Korea, as we see some airplanes flying above us, but we always like the little kids like gather together and say like our country play. That's our cats.
Trying to get in. They don't like being outside without us.
Yes, so then we always scream like in Korea say 우리나라 비행기. Like, that's the way how we screaming to the airplanes. So when I was in Laos, coming to US, we have to fly to Thailand, and that was the first plane. And
Was it were you anxious at all?
yes, the plane was like so shaky. So I was a little bit terrified. I was thinking like, are we going to going down? So.
All right. So what about electricity? So we take that for granted here. We always have electricity and running water. What was that like for you in North Korea?
In North Korea, electricity is so scarce. We don't even expecting the electricity either. So.
But you had the capability of it. Just it wasn't. You didn't always have it.
Right.
So it was like controlled by the government, basically.
Right. Completely controlled by the government.
What about water?
Water we drink in the river or streams.
So you had no plumbing in
No.
your house.
No.
So restroom, obviously. That's
Restroom
really
is always outside. It's like a separate rooms. So there's like a separate doors.
Uh-huh.
You go in, like doing your business. But the thing is that all the dogs, all the things like they can came in as you're doing your business, they eating it.
Oh.
It's so different.
So the area of North Korea you were in, so it was the mountainous area. So the winters were really cold.
Winter was like the coldest. Highest record was like 50 Celsius. I think that was the highest. Normally just 40 or 45.
And lots of snow.
It wasn't that much snow. Like early 1990s, there was a lot of snow.
Mm-hmm.
After that, it was like really snowy.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really hard for people there.
Mm-hmm. So you grew up on a farm.
Yes.
So which, as most people, I guess, in your area had farms. So what did you grow?
Mainly potato, and then soybeans, corns, and barley.
But you couldn't keep all of it though, right? It had to be.
No, so we have to like cultivate our own farmland.
Okay.
Then we can keep it. I mean, technically, we are not allowed, but that area is mistreated by government.
Mm-hmm.
And then a few times the government tried to collect everything from that area, but the people were so angry with the collectors.
Mm-hmm.
I heard like a rumor says like one of the collectors was like beat up so bad and they canceled that thing.
So originally you're supposed to farm for the government,
Yes.
but then people kind of fall back, I guess, and then they
Yes.
left you guys alone.
Right.
So you basically just had to sustain yourselves with your farms. And you had animals, as most farms did,
Yes.
right?
Pigs. We have like one pig, female, and then chicken. Chicken is for the eggs.
Mm-hmm.
And once in a while, but we never have a good luck with the dogs because all constantly stolen, eaten by other human beings.
Oh.
And then goat for milk.
So you had goat milk, because you told me before that cows were, not allowed, basically.
Yes, cow and horse is a government property.
Mm.
Also, whoever killing the cow or injuring the cow is like equivalent to murder.
Mm-hmm. So I imagine school is very different from North Korea to here. We have key standards and testing that we all have to take. What was school in North Korea?
In North Korea, I hated the school so much because every day at school, constantly I have to bring something. It's a requirement.
What did you have to bring?
Anything like rice, money, and firewood.
What was it for? To support the school, or?
It's for they collecting it under dictator's name, so they giving it to government. So if we don't fail to fulfill the requirements, then it's considered a treason. So it was
So what was taught while you were in school?
I mean, they do teaching Korean literature, mathematics, science, but mainly talking about the dictator. Like a previous video, I showed a little bit about like, how North Koreans manipulating the people's brain. Says dictators was like a godly person. He can change the weather. He can do anything. And does like that. He defeated the Japanese Empire and freed the Korean Peninsula from Japanese Empire.
So were like the teachers trained to teach or taught to teach by the government, or was it just anyone who was willing to do it?
Teachers, they have it is a government required. If he or she fail to do that, then that's a high consequence for it's like a death penalty.
So had to be trained. You're
Yes.
saying otherwise, if they weren't, it would.
Yes.
They could get in trouble.
They have no choice.
So with all the focus on the dictator, what about I'm assuming there were churches that tried to underground churches or things like that?
I never heard about anything underground church, but the first thing I heard about the God was one of my friends. In Korean, we say Hanonim, but when he said it, I felt I was looking at him. That was weird, but I like that word. It was a rainy day in May. So in North Korea, my hometown in spring, especially in May, the rainy day we go out and catching the frogs and we make money. And then it was one day he and I preparing for our daily routines catching frogs, but he's like, 하나님 오늘 많이 잡게 해주십시오, which means like God please giving make us good catching good number of frogs. When I heard, I'm like, that's really weird.
So it's unheard of because
I never heard of it. I mean, it was like the kind of break shocking, like electrocuted things.
Because you would expect someone would be more like wishing the dictator would
Yes,
grant that.
right.
Yeah.
But then I really liked it.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, that was my first time I heard about like directly God.
Mm-hmm.
So now I'm thinking that his family must have Bible or something, but underground church, I don't know. Maybe within the families, yes. I really
But
believe.
if they were caught with any of that within the Bible or talking about that, they would have gotten in trouble, right?
That's penalty, yes.
Yeah. All right, last question, and we'll wrap up this, but I have to talk about the great American pastime of television.
Yes.
Did you have a television at home?
When I was in North Korea, we did have like this black and white screen TV. It was a Japanese brand.
Was it like really big and bulky?
Yes.
Yeah, it's like an old
Right.
TV, yeah. And what could you watch on that TV?
It's only a government control the channels. So even like a 5 years old kid, they memorize the TV. What is it? They call it the menu. Maybe?
The guide.
Yes,
yeah,
guide.
TV guide.
Yes, they memorize what time is what time is what. I still remember like 8:30 is like a news.
So it sounds like early TV here in the U.S. where there was only like 3 channels,
Yes.
and so you had very limited options. So kind of sounds so Korea is
Yes.
kind of matching our what 1950s or
Right.
so. So you come to U.S. and suddenly there's television 24/7, all kinds of different channels, all kinds of things. Were you overwhelmed?
It is, yes. Like in China, we did watch all like Chinese movies, like TVs and things like that. But when I came here, it was like so many channels, so many like it was like overwhelmingly. To me, it's like too many.
Well, this was fun. Have to do some more. Have
Yes.
lots of more questions.
Okay,